Nikki Haley, Donald Trump's ambassador to the United Nations, has resigned. Haley is a former governor of South Carolina and in the past has been a critic of Donald Trump. Her appointment surprised people at the time, but she says she's loved the job.
It has been an honor of a lifetime. I said I am such a lucky girl to have been able to lead the state that raised me and to serve a country I love so very much has really been a blessing, and I want to thank you for that. But I'm most excited. Look at the 2 years. Look at what has happened in 2 years with the United States on foreign policy. Now the United States is respected. Countries may not like what we do, but they respect what we do.
CBC's Lindsay Duncombe is in Washington with more on this. So this is coming out of the blue, right? Why did she resign?
Well, it's coming out of the blue for those who are watching Washington and for all but just a handful of her staff, according to reports here in the States. But the president also said that Nikki Haley gave him the heads up about 6 months ago that she may want to wrap up her time at the UN at the end of the year. And that's exactly what's happening. She is going to stay on through the holidays until the beginning of January, presumably. And the reason she gave for this wasn't because she was unhappy. It was because she said it is just time. And she talked about the fact that she had had 6 years with some challenges, including storms, as the governor of South Carolina. And then she went on to this very intense position, and she believes it is time for her to step away and let someone else do the job. Here's Nikki Haley.
No, there's no personal reasons. I think that it's just very important for government officials to understand when it's time to step aside. And I have given everything I've got these last 8 years. And I do think that sometimes it's good to rotate in other people who can put that same energy and power into it. So there really is, a lot of people are going to want to say there's a lot of reasons why I'm leaving. The truth is, I want to make sure that this administration, the president, has the strongest person to fight.
And certainly this was a Mutual Admiration Society press conference in the Oval Office. Nikki Haley talked about the accomplishments she had had at the United Nations, the accomplishments of the administration's foreign policy. She praised not just the president, but his family as well, including Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump, and Donald Trump certainly praised Nikki Haley. There is no bad blood here. In fact, he said if she wants another job in the administration, it's hers. Here's Donald Trump.
We're all happy for you in one way, but we hate to lose. Hopefully you'll be coming back at some point, but you want to just, in maybe a different capacity. You can have your pick.
And there has been a lot of speculations about what Nikki Haley might do as a next gig. In fact, before there were even any questions there, Rashmi, she did say she is not planning to run in 2020, that she will be supporting the president in his re-election bid. Why all of that questioning? Because there has been a lot of speculation about Nikki Haley as a potential presidential candidate. There's lots of reasons why people think that she would be good at it. In fact, long before Trump came to his power within the Republican Party, Nikki Haley was seen as the future of the Republican Party, someone who was a woman, relatively young, governor experience, and she is Indo-American, which gives her a unique perspective and sort of a different generation feel than many of the current Republican candidates. She said she's not planning to run in 2020, but I think there is a lot of speculation about where her ambition might take her in the years to come.
And so now with Nikki Haley out, what does this mean for American foreign policy?
Well, a lot of it depends on who the next person at the United Nations will be. And in the true way of building suspense in this administration, we don't know that. That announcement will be saved for 2 to 3 weeks from now, according to the president. But if you look at what Nikki Haley was able to accomplish, she was described as a moderating force behind the scenes, certainly very supportive of the isolationist America First policy at the UN. She saw that the United States pulled away from many international organizations and agreements during her time, but she also did speak out against some of the language and the tone and the policies of the White House in particular, and was especially strong when it came to Russia. And in that sense, she was one of sort of the few remaining hawkish foreign policy establishment Republicans. But Nikki Haley really, as well as any Republican has done here, managed to keep one foot respectfully respectfully in the establishment world, another foot in the Trumpist world. And again, that ability to balance that, perhaps even the orchestrated timing of this move, does bode well for political instincts that will likely resurface at some point.
Thanks, Lindsay. For more on this, we're bringing in Erin Blake, a senior political reporter for The Washington Post. And Erin joins us live from Washington. So what are you hearing about why Ambassador Haley's resigning?
Well, it's a big mystery. The president said that this was something that Nikki Haley asked him about 6 months ago. He said that she previewed a desire to leave by the end of the year, as far back as April, it sounds like. We are hearing that the people in the foreign policy establishment were taken aback by this. They did not see it coming, though. People in the White House did not see this coming. It all seemed to have come up rather abruptly. So if the president knew about this, he certainly did a very good job of keeping a secret. There is the matter of other members of this administration not lasting for very long. Serving the president is often a thankless job. He makes it more difficult for them. And certainly there have been times in the past where Nikki Haley has had to separate herself from things that have happened in the Trump administration, including most notably almost exactly 6 months ago when she basically was thrown under the bus by the White House for something that she did, and then she wound up actually rebuking other members of the administration for doing that to her. So it's been an interesting dance that she's done. She's been a very popular UN ambassador. She has raised the profile of that position, and it seems like now, after 2 years, she has wagered that now is the time to get out.
Abruptly leaving the Trump administration has happened before. How would you characterize how the president is handling this exit compared to previous ones?
Well, I thought the ceremony, if you could call it that, the talking to the press in the White House today was pretty remarkable for somebody, for a UN ambassador that is not technically a cabinet position in an administration. They clearly wanted to show a united front, especially in light of the idea that Nikki Haley might run against the president in 2020. She pretty much quashed that idea completely by saying she would campaign with the president, praising him effusively, and even praising his son and his daughter and his son-in-law who work in the White House, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. I think it would be very difficult for her to turn around and run against him in 2020, and certainly she has nipped that in the bud very much so. So I think that this was maybe not something that everybody wanted to see happen, but certainly something that they decided to make a very united front in responding to.
Still some mysterious aspects to it, including the timing, right? A lot of people on Twitter talking about why an administration would want to announce something like this 28 days before a rough election ahead.
Yeah, the timing doesn't make much sense, both because of the election, because of how popular she is in the administration. The fact that she would be leaving just before an election is not a terribly good thing. Also, Republicans are on the front foot right now when it comes to the Brett Kavanaugh situation. Polls are showing that they actually fared better in that whole situation than Democrats did. It's creating enthusiasm in the Republican Party base. I think there's a real desire to keep pushing that storyline. And then today, we're having this very major news that's distracting from all of that. And so I think that the timing of it is going to lead to questions about whether something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about, whether perhaps there was some kind of discord there, or maybe there were some ethics issues. There was a watchdog today that came forward with a complaint against Nikki Haley regarding her official travel. So we'll have to figure that out. I imagine the truth will come out eventually, but for now, it's a big guessing game for all of us to take part in.
Okay, and what about the absence of Ambassador Haley at the United Nations? Who is going to fill that spot, and what is the significance there?
Well, it sounds like the president is going to consider this over the next few weeks. He says he has a number of candidates. Nikki Haley is not leaving immediately, of course. She said she's going to leave by the end of the week, which gives them almost 3 months' time to fill this position. The name that immediately rose to the top was the president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, who Nikki Haley talked so glowingly about at the event with the president. It's not clear whether she has any interest or this is in the offing, but certainly that would be something that would be a possibility. The other possibility is Dina Powell, who is a well-respected national security advisor from the past. Her name probably is the most likely that we've seen to rise up so far. But this just happened so quickly that I don't think anybody was really gaming out who the next person might be for that job.
All right, great to get your thoughts, Erin. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Erin Blake, a senior political reporter for The Washington Post, joining us live from Washington.